Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're tackling a highly specific and, let's be real, super stressful problem that pretty much every dedicated goldfish keeper runs into at some point: internal parasites. If you've ever stared at your aquarium and just felt that sudden, sinking feeling in your stomach because your prized fish looks sick, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the science and, more importantly, the practical application of the absolute gold standard treatment out there, metronidazole. Let's just dive right into it.
So it usually starts with this one very alarming clue. You walk up to your tank for feeding time and you spot it. White, stringy, almost completely translucent feces just trailing from your fish. It's that undeniable telltale sign that something inside your fish's digestive tract has gone very, very wrong. But what exactly are we dealing with here?
Well, that stringy waste, it's really just the beginning. It's often accompanied by extreme lethargy, like your normally hyperactive goldfish might just be sitting down on the bottom of the tank. You might also notice a sudden, total loss of appetite, maybe a distended abdomen, or on the flip side, extreme weight loss. And in the really severe cases, you'll actually see enlarged sensory pores on their face, which most of us know as hole-in-the-head disease. If you're seeing these symptoms pop up, there's a very good chance you're dealing with some nasty little protozoans called Hexamita or Spironucleus.
Okay, take a deep breath. We are absolutely going to solve this together. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with identifying internal goldfish parasites, then move on to metronidazole, the anaerobic assassin, see why it's safe for your biofilter, talk about crafting medicated gel food, and finally, wrap up with dosage and treatment timeline.
All right, Section 1, identifying internal goldfish parasites, the micro-war inside your fish. To truly defeat an enemy, we first have to understand what's actually happening inside your goldfish's gut.
And here is the somewhat surprising truth. Flagellated protozoans like Hexamita, they actually often live completely benignly right there in the gut of a perfectly healthy fish. They're basically just background noise. But the moment your goldfish experiences serious stress, maybe it's from poor water quality, a bit of overcrowding, or just a bad diet, their immune system tanks. And that's exactly when these opportunistic parasites strike. They multiply like crazy, totally overwhelming the digestive tract, stopping the fish from absorbing nutrients, and eventually, they'll even invade the bloodstream to attack the internal organs. It is literally a micro-war going on in there.
Moving to Section 2, metronidazole, the anaerobic assassin. Now, to win this micro-war, we're going to need the exact right weapon. Enter metronidazole. This stuff is a really potent antimicrobial agent and antibiotic. In both the veterinary and even the human medical worlds, it's totally renowned for its effectiveness against protozoan parasites and anaerobic bacterial infections. So when it comes to dealing with Hexamita, Spironucleus, and that dreaded hole-in-the-head disease, this right here is the undisputed treatment of choice in the aquarium hobby.
Now, the actual science of how this works is just fascinating. Once metronidazole enters the parasite cell, it undergoes this chemical reduction process. And this reaction produces free radicals, which are basically these super unstable molecules that completely disrupt DNA synthesis. Honestly, it acts like a microscopic chemical wrecking ball, just destroying the parasite from the inside out, so there is absolutely no way it can reproduce.
Okay, on to Section 3, safe for your biofilter. Don't panic about your cycle. Now, you might be wondering, if this is a powerful antibiotic, isn't it going to wipe out all the beneficial bacteria in my aquarium? Let's just put that fear to rest right now.
Seriously, you do not need to panic. The genius of metronidazole is that it specifically targets anaerobic organisms, meaning the ones that thrive without oxygen, exactly like those parasites hiding deep in your fish's gut. But the beneficial bacteria keeping your biofilter alive, specifically Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter, those are aerobic. They love and actually require oxygen. So because metronidazole really only fully activates in anaerobic environments, your crucial biological filter remains perfectly safe and completely unharmed during the whole treatment process.
All right, Section 4, crafting medicated gel food, the safest delivery method. Now, while you technically can dose this stuff directly into the aquarium water, getting the medication straight into the gut via their food is just exponentially more effective. So let's walk through a standard, highly effective base recipe derived right from the Hikari guidelines. First up, you're going to mix 3 ounces of unflavored gelatin with 1 ounce of finely ground, high-quality goldfish pellets. Next, heat up 1 pint of tap water until it's just about boiling. Then, you'll add about 4 to 6 ounces of that hot water to your dry mix, stirring it really vigorously until it gets nice and stiff. Finally, just spread the whole mixture flat on some wax paper.
But
And this is a huge but. Stop right there. This next part is absolutely crucial. As a really helpful contributor on the Rush Goldfish community pointed out, unfortunately, hot water will degrade or completely destroy the active ingredients. If you mix your expensive metronidazole into that boiling hot gelatin mix right now, you are going to literally ruin the medication. You'll just be feeding your fish completely useless, unmedicated food.
Instead, here's the safe, completely hobbyist-approved method. Wait for that gel food to cool down completely. You can even pop it in the fridge to speed things up. Once it's completely cool, that's when you measure out your metronidazole dose. Now, it's highly recommended to mix it with a polymer binder first, something like Secum Focus, which really helps the medication bind to the food so it doesn't just immediately wash away into the water column. Finally, grab a small portion of your cooled gel food and physically mash that medication mixture directly into it, right before you're ready to feed.
Which brings us to Section 5, Dosage and Treatment Timeline, doing the math. The crucial point here is getting this dosage exactly right. Because honestly, if you don't, those parasites are going to survive.
Okay, let's break down the math. The medical standard for food dosing is 0.1 milligrams of pure metronidazole per 1 gram of fish weight. But here's the catch. Many commercial products out there aren't 100% pure. Take Secum Metroplex, for example, which is a super popular brand. It's actually only 70% active metronidazole. Because of that, you have to compensate. If you're using a 70% product, you need to bump that dose up to roughly 0.14 milligrams per gram of fish weight, just to actually hit that effective therapeutic level. So, rule of thumb, always check the active ingredient percentage on your package.
All right, once your food is perfectly dosed and mashed together, just roll it into little bite-sized balls. You're going to want to feed this medicated gel food to your goldfish at least twice a day. And the golden rule definitely applies here. Only feed them what they can aggressively consume in about 5 minutes or so. If there's any uneaten food left floating around after that, net it out immediately. We really need to protect your water quality during this time.
So, how long do we have to keep this up? 7 to 10. That is the exact number of days you must commit to this treatment cycle. And listen, I really cannot stress this point enough. You absolutely must complete the full 7 to 10 day treatment regimen. I know, you might see that gross white stringy feces disappear after just like 3 days. Your goldfish might start swimming around happily, begging for food again like nothing happened. Do not stop the treatment. Stopping an antibiotic or antiparasitic treatment early basically leaves the strongest, most resilient parasites alive. You're effectively creating these drug-resistant superparasites that will be nearly impossible to cure the next time around. It's just not worth the risk.
Now, once your goldfish is completely cured, and they will be if you follow this, you really have to take a step back and ask yourself, is your current fish food rotation actually providing enough variety to keep their immune system strong in the first place? Because remember, these parasites only struck because your fish's immune system was compromised to begin with. Keeping pristine water quality and feeding a highly varied, nutrient-rich diet, those are your absolute ultimate preventative measures. Keep their immunity up, and you will keep the parasites out. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer today, and happy fish keeping.